You've probably tried building a project or an app before, and you know how frustrating it can be when things just don't come together. You're stuck spending hours on backend setup, trying to figure out what's wrong, and suddenly you are overwhelmed. What if I told you that there's a way to make this process quicker, smoother, and way less stressful? That's exactly what FastAPI offers. And the best part is, you don't have to do it all alone. With tools like GitHub Copilot, you can code smarter and faster than ever before. In today's video, we are going to show you how FastAPI can help you build APIs with minimum effort, maximum performance, and a little help from AI. Now, before we dive in, you might be wondering what exactly is FastAPI and why should I care? Now, when you're building a website or app, you need a backend system that handles things like storing data, processing user input, and fetching information. Whenever someone clicks a button or submits a form on your side, you need the backend to respond by doing something, whether it's saving data, retrieving information, or updating a database. FastAPI is a framework that makes this backend process quick and easy. It's the brain behind your app, and it's designed to make coding APIs as painless as possible. But here's the twist. With tools like GitHub Copilot, you don't have to write all the code from scratch. Copilot is an AI-powered tool that can help you write code faster by suggesting lines, functions, or even entire blocks of code based on what you're trying to do. Imagine it as a co-pilot who's always one step ahead, helping you build your app with fewer mistakes and more efficiency. Now, you might be familiar with other Python frameworks like Django and Flask. Let's briefly compare them to FastAPI to help you understand why FastAPI is so special. So first, let's talk about Django. Now, Django is just like a huge toolbox for building web apps. It comes with a lot of built-in features like user authentication, admin interfaces, and database management. So you don't have to build those things from scratch. Perfect for large-scale projects, but it can feel a bit heavy and slow for smaller apps because of all those features. Now the question is, why should you use Django? Now, if you're building something complex like an e-commerce site, Django will give you everything you need to know. But there's a downside too. For smaller projects, it can feel slow and bloated with features you might not need. Next, let's talk about Flask. Now, Flask is more lightweight and flexible. It gives you the basic and let you add more features as needed. It's great for smaller projects or when you want full control over how things are built. So why should you use Flask? Now, if you want simplicity and flexibility, Flask is a good choice. There's a downside too. For bigger projects, you might need to add a lot of extra code for things like authentication, database management. So why should we use FastAPI? Well, it's modern, fast, and incredibly easy to learn. It combines the speed of Flask with the power of Django. So you get the best of both the worlds. It's designed for high performance and makes building APIs faster than ever. Plus, it automatically generates interactive documentation and uses Python's type hints for data validation, making your development process even smoother. FastAPI is built for speed and ease of use. You can get your backend up and running quickly with fewer lines of code. Now, even though it's fast, it doesn't cut corners on security or other important features. It's great for both small apps and large scalable projects. FastAPI automatically generates documentation, which makes it super easy to test and debug. So now let's talk about what we are going to build in this video. Well, we are going to cover the following topics. First, we'll have a look at how to set up FastAPI. We'll start by installing FastAPI and getting our environment ready to go. Next, we'll be building the backend. You learn how to create simple FastAPI endpoints to handle product data. We'll also see how you can connect to a database. We'll connect our FastAPI app to PostgreSQL database to store product information. But you can use any database you prefer. Testing the API. We'll use FastAPI's built-in tools to test our API, ensuring everything works smoothly. We'll have a look at how we can connect both the frontend and backend. I'll show you how to connect your FastAPI backend to a React frontend. We'll also talk about handling CORS, which is cross-origin resource sharing, so both the parts can communicate seamlessly. Now, how does GitHub Copilot helps you code faster? Now, while we're going through the steps of building this app, GitHub Copilot will be your AI coding assistant, making things even easier. For example, when you need to define a route or model, Copilot will suggest entire lines of code. So you don't have to think about syntax or structure. It will even suggest helpful comments and functions that match what you're trying to do. Now imagine you're writing a complex FastAPI route. Instead of googling syntax or struggling with how to validate incoming data, GitHub Copilot will instantly suggest the perfect code for you based on the context of your project. This speeds up the process, helps you write cleaner code, and ensures you're using best practices. And by the end of this video, you will have learned how to build a functional FastAPI app with the backend connected to a database. And you'll have seen firsthand like how tools like GitHub Copilot can make your coding journey faster and smoother. Now, before we get started, here's a quick quiz question for you. The question is, what is FastAPI mainly used for? Your options are designing UI components, building and managing APIs, creating mobile apps, or hosting websites. Let me know your answers in the comment section below. Now, before we dive into coding with FastAPI, there are a few things you might need to know. Now think of this as the foundation that will help you get everything set up on your computer so that you can smoothly follow along with the course. We will be covering what you need to install, and I'll explain this in a few terms along the way. Now the first thing we need is Python, which is the programming language we will be using to build our backend app. You can think of Python as the language that tells your computer what to do. It's just like giving instructions to a robot, and Python is the language that makes those instructions understandable to the robot. So why did we select Python? Because Python is easy to learn and understood by many companies and developers worldwide. It's versatile, meaning you can use Python to build anything from websites to AI programs. What you need to do is just go to this python.org, and from here you need to download this file. So you can just download the updated recent version of Python from here. Now, if you want to check the version number, you can get it from here and then just hit on this download button and download it. Now, since I've already installed Python in my system, what we can do is we'll go to our terminal. So in your system, just search for terminal. It will be there by default. And after terminal, just type a command there, which is python ---- version. So this will check if the Python is actually installed in your system or not. And if it's installed, it'll show something like this, Python 3.137. Now this is the version number of my Python. Now next to install Node.js. A helper for running React frontend, and this is optional. Now if you want to work with a React frontend in this course, which you'll be using to show product data, then you will need to install Node.js. Now, React is a JavaScript framework which is used for creating interactive user interfaces, the part of the app that users see and interact with. So why Node.js? Because Node.js can help you run JavaScript code outside of a browser. It's very important if you want to run the React frontend locally in your system. You don't need to know JavaScript for this course, but installing Node.js will make it easier to set up the front-end part of the project. So just go to node.js org, and then from here you'll get this option of Windows Installer MSL and standalone binary. Make sure that you hit on this Windows Installer button and then install from here. Now, because I have Windows operating system, I'll just select Windows. Now, if you have Mac OS or Linux, you can just select your OS from here and then you can download it like that. So I've already downloaded Node.js in my system. Now, again, we'll go back to our terminal in similar way. Now, to check for Node, what you'll do is you'll just type this command node ---- version. So this will check the Node.js version installed in my system, and here you have it. Now if it is already installed in your system successfully, it will show something like this, v22.19.0. So this is the version number of the node which we have installed in our system. So now that we have covered Python and Node.js, let's move on to the key components we will be using to run, which is FastAPI. So I've already told you before what FastAPI is. Well, I'll repeat it again. FastAPI is the framework we will be using to build the backend of our app. You can think of it as a tool that will make it easy to handle requests from users. Like when someone clicks on a button to add a product and then send back the right data, like showing the list of the products. Now, FastAPI is modern, easy to use, and it's really fast, which makes it a great choice for building web apps. Next is UVcorn, not unicorn, UVcorn. It is the server that runs your FastAPI app. It's just like an engine that makes the app come to life, and it handles requests from the outside world. Let's say, for example, a user interacting with the app. Now, FastAPI and UVcorn, they both work together. FastAPI will build the backend and UVcorn will run it. So we need to install FastAPI and UVcorn as well. Now, just go to this terminal section again and just type this command, which is pip install FastAPI. And this will tell Python to install FastAPI on your system. So as you can see from here, I'll just enlarge this terminal. Now, our FastAPI has already been installed, and these are the packages it has installed for us. It's successfully done. And to update run, you can use python.exe-m pip install to upgrade the version if you want to. Next, we'll be installing UVcorn. And again, for this, you need to just type this command, which is pip install UVcorn, and this will install the UVcorn server. So we can run our FastAPI app. Pip install UVcorn. And again, our UVcorn is also installed in our system. So now that we have installed UVcorn and FastAPI, let's move on to one important thing, which is Pydantic. Now, if you guys are not familiar with this term, let me explain it to you. Now, Pydantic is a tool FastAPI uses to validate the data you send it to and from your app. You can imagine if you're filling out a form with your name and age. Pydantic makes sure that the name is string, text, and the age is number. So it will help ensure that the data is valid and it won't cause errors in the app. Now, what it does is it also formats the data in a way that makes it easy to work with. Now, if you're sending product information like name, description, price, Pydantic ensures that everything is formatted correctly. So in our app, we'll use Pydantic to validate the product data when we add, update, or delete products. So let's move on to our first step, which is installing VS Code now. So I already have VS Code installed in my system. So I'll just go back to the Visual Studio Code from here. So make sure you have the latest version of VS Code installed in your system. And then from file, you can open a file. Well, before this, here an important thing, which is you need to install the Python extension in your VS Code. So just in the extension section, search for Python from here. And you get this option of Python, right? Not the debugger one, the Python, and just click on that. So I've already installed this in my VS Code. And if you haven't installed this, make sure you install this extension so that your code works perfectly. And then we'll go back to our files. So this is already installed. We'll cross this. We'll go to a file. Now you can open a folder or you can open a text file from here. So I'll be opening a folder from here, which I have already prepared in my downloads, which is FastAPI demo products. I'll just select this folder from here. So as you can see on the left side, in the Explorer section, we have all the files ready here, right? So I'll show you everything step by step. And on the right side, you also have this GitHub Copilot agent mode. I'll show you how can we use this as well. Now that we have installed Python in our system, we'll go to our terminal section and then we'll create a virtual environment to manage our dependencies. So in the terminal section, just type this command python-m and then you have when we are creating a virtual environment. You can name the virtual environment. Here I'll just keep the name as when we same and just type enter. So it says here it's unable to copy this file to this downloads FastAPI. So I've again given the name as -m when we and the name here is FastAPI now. We'll create a virtual environment again. So now that our virtual environment is created by a different name, so I can just view it here. Now in the FastAPI section, you can see this tab opening here in the file section. So you can see here all the live packages from here, the scripts and all. We'll install the scripts as well. So let's now activate the scripts in our system. Now if you have Windows, you have to type command like when we scripts activate. So just type, give the name as FastAPI/scripts/activate. Okay, so this we cannot, sorry, I've given the wrong name. So it's FastAPI activate. So now it says our FastAPI scripts has now been activated. Now, if you're on Mac or Linux, in place of you need to just enter bin, which is FastAPI bin activate if you're using Linux or Mac OS system. Now, once again, we have already installed FastAPI and Uvicorn in our system. If not, again from here in this terminal, we can check if it's already installed in our system. So we'll type this command again, which is pip install FastAPI Uvicorn. So we're just checking for both Uvicorn as well as for FastAPI. Pip install FastAPI Uvicorn, and I'll just hit on enter. So it has already installed all the packages and all, you can see from here. So we had already done this before as well. So just for checking out, I checked this command. Now, so our API Uvicorn has been installed. Now let me show you a simple Python code. So I'll remove this terminal section from here. I'll go to file and I'll create a new file, which is hello.py, and I'll hit on enter. Now we need to understand the very basics of Python, specifically how functions work. So here I'll be demonstrating a simple function example. So the code is def greet and bracket, enter a name, colon. So you get this automatically appearing tab here. And again, you can just see it from here, return f hello name. So this really helps you while you're coding. Return f hello, comma. And then you can give a name here. This is the exclamation mark. And now we can assign the name of the person. Let's suppose it's John. And then we'll print this statement by print greet name, okay? So just inside this bracket, greet, and then you can write name from here. So here the def greet name. Now this will define a function which is called greet that takes one argument, which is name. Now here the next function, which is return f hello name. Now this will return a greeting message using Python's f string, which is the formatted string. It inserts the value of name into that string. Now you have name as John. We assign the string John to the variable name. And then finally, we print greet name. So we are calling the greet function with the name as John, and it will print the greeting message, which is hello John. Let me show it to you. So we'll just run this code from here. We'll just click on run this Python file. So you can see your output right in front of you, which is hello John from here. Well, this is how you code a basic Python code. So we'll hide this panel now. Now, if you're interested in mastering the future of technology, then the professional certificate course in generative AI and machine learning is the perfect opportunity for you. This is offered in collaboration with ANICE Academy. It's an 11-month live and interactive program which will provide hands-on expertise in cutting-edge areas like generative AI, machine learning, and tools like ChatGPT, DALL-E 2, and even Hugging Face. You'll be gaining practical experience through 15 plus projects, integrated labs, and masterclasses delivered by esteemed IIT Kanpur faculty. And alongside, you'll earn a prestigious certificate from IIT Kanpur, where you'll receive official Microsoft badges for Assure AI courses and career support through Simplilearn's Job Assist program. So guys, hurry up and enroll now, and you can find the course link below. So now that we have seen a basic Python code, let's move on and create a basic FastAPI application. It's very beginner friendly, so even if you're new to this, you'll understand it. Now, so I've already showed you how to install FastAPI and Uvicorn in our terminal and how you run it. Now it's time to actually code. So we'll be coding using FastAPI. So we'll create one more file from here, and we'll name it as FastAPI py. So we'll type the code. So we'll say from FastAPI import this will be small letter API. So it's really case sensitive. So make sure that you're paying attention to the letters, the small and the capital letters here. So here we use the small letters and we are using API in capital letters. So we are importing the FastAPI class, which is the core of our app here. Next, we'll be creating an instance of FastAPI. So I'll just give a comment here. Hashtag create an instance of FastAPI. And then we'll type app is equals to FastAPI. You can see it from here, right? And it's absolutely correct. So just click on this. When you hover on this, you get this option of accept tab. Just click it here and then you get your code ready in front of you. Now, it makes our coding way more simpler now just by using these features. Then we'll define a simple route. So we'll just mention it here. Define a simple root, and then @app.g, and then mention backslash here, def red or root brackets and colon. And then we'll return this as message colon hello comma fast API. So now let me explain you this code. So we have imported the FastAPI class, which is the core of our app. Then by using this app is equals to FastAPI, we have created an instance of the FastAPI class. This instance will handle all the incoming HTTP requests. Next, we defined a simple root, which is @app.get/. Now, this is a decorator that will tell FastAPI to listen to the GET request on the root URL. Then we have def read root. Now, this function is called when we get request, which is made to the root URL using the / function. And finally, we return the message, which is message hello FastAPI. Now, this function returns the JSON response containing the message, which is hello FastAPI. I hope it's clear to you. And then to run this application, we'll just hit on this run here. Now, to run this file, we need to actually give one command. And the command is uvicorn main :app-reload. So I'll just type it here, uvicorn-reload. So by doing this, you'll just see this output coming here. We'll watch for the changes in these directories, and uvicorn is running on the HTTP 127.0.0/8000, right? Now this is really important. So you can just follow this link from here. So I'll just click on this link and it will open to our website. Well, it was saying some error. It can't read the page at this moment, but let me just explain something to you. Now, this URL, which is the HTTP 127.0.8000, right? This is the local server address for a FastAPI application running on your computer. When you run your FastAPI app using uvicorn, the server starts on your local machine, and 127.0.1, which is also known as localhost, is the address that refers to your computer. The port 8000 is default port which is used by uvicorn. Now, understanding the address 127.0.1, this is the IP address for localhost, meaning this computer or your own computer. And the port here, which is 8000, this is the port number where the FastAPI app is running. Now, when you run uvicorn, it defaults to port 8000, but you can change there if needed. Example, by running uvicorn main app reload port. So once your FastAPI application is up and running, you can start testing it interactively with the automatically generated Swagger UI. FastAPI provides this interactive documentation that allows you to see all your API routes and test them directly from your browser, making it super easy to verify that everything works as expected. Now, to access Swagger UI, you need to run the FastAPI app. So we can also take help of GitHub Copilot here. So I'll just say Copilot to run the Swagger UI with this port using FastAPI app. All right, we'll just give it to Copilot agent and let's see what it actually does. Now it says that I'll search the workspace for FastAPI app definitions and server entry points. So it has searched for the workspace now. It's opening fastapi.py, the application, the code which we have already done before. And yeah, it's super amazing. It's actually reading and creating a task plan now. So let's see what it does to inspect the file. Well, it says I'll open FastAPI to inspect the file, and all right. So it's saying now I'll start the uvicorn server from the project virtual environment. So Swagger appear at docs, and it says I've created a short to-do plan. Then we'll start the server from the project's virtual environment. All right. So it's creating a to-do plan for us, and then it's saying that we'll start with the Swagger UI, and now we just need to run this command from here. Reload host. All right, so we can also run this in the terminal here, or you can see the agent mode to run it from here. Let's test with the help of agent mode. So I'll just select allow now, and it's running the uvicorn server. So you can actually check the everything, whatever the agent mode is doing in your VS Code terminal section from here. It says server has been started. I'll update the to-do list and then explain how to open Swagger. And it says done. The FastAPI app was launched from the project virtual env. Open the Swagger UI at this particular link. And it has also given us quick notes and useful commands. Server starts, ran, and this is the directory of our file. In the workspace terminal, you can also stop the server by pressing Ctrl+C in the terminal where the server is running. And also given an alternative start from project root run, which is -m Uvicon FastAPI app reload and the port name. All right, next step, I'll pick on this. Okay, so let's just run and open this file server from here. So here it says when I run this file, it says the site can't be reached. Well, we'll go back again to our VS Code Copilot and it says FastAPI app was launched. Open the Swagger UI at this. So I'll just type to Copilot that I'm unable to open the link. It says page not found. It says I'll restart Uvicon to capture startup logs. Again, I'll just hit on allow. So it has imported few libraries. I can see it here in my terminal section. Okay, it started a reloader process. Uvicon running on this particular port from here. I'll restart it. So it's saying I'll add a new app.py avoids name conflict, then restart Uvicon using this. All right. Again, I'll just hit on this allow. It says run this push command and again I'll just select allow. So I've run this command once again and again it says it can't reach the page. So there might be some connection problem, I feel. Alright, now it has done a lot of tasks for me. It also says you can restart the Uvicon command above. The next important thing which I wanted to show you guys is how you can test your routes. So I've asked agent to test the routes where you will see all your API routes like get, post, put, delete listed in the Swagger UI. And you can test each one of them by entering data like a new product and clicking execute. So let me give it to agent mode and see what it does. Okay, so here it says I'll add a to-do route testing. I'll start the server in the background and run quick request to verify the endpoints. Now it's thinking to set up the configuration from here. Okay, just select allow from here. So it's starting the API server in the package folder and then running a few HTTP requests to exercise the route list and create product endpoints. So it says I'll first launch the server in background and then run get post checks from here. So again, it says web content make malicious. I'll just select and allow. Again, we have to select allow. So it's basically checking for the server connection first and it's running and capturing the logs from here. It says I'll start Uvicon with SDT out, SDTR directed to files, wait briefly and then I'll read. Well, let's see. Okay, continue to iterate. Allow. Does have it's throwing some error and says type help to copyright tags. So as you can see here that if you see the page not found at docs, now this can happen in your case also, then you can confirm the server is running on port 8000, the Uvicon process. And if not, then you can start it using the commands above. You need to make sure that no firewall or other process are blocked by this particular port. And if there are any import name collision at a file name, which is the project root, it says I've already added a safe app.py earlier, but the package this contains intended API. Well, it says next steps, I can stop the Python REPL in your terminal and can start the... So I'll just say to stop the replicated Python files in my terminal and then it'll start again with the automated test and then it can report results and sample responses so that we won't be seeing that error again. So this might take some time till then. The next step is the view response one. After executing a request, Swagger UI will show you the response directly, which will let you see whether your API is returning the expected results or not. Let's say, for example, you can try testing the post products endpoint by filling in the required product details like name, description, price, quantity. Now, once you click on execute, the result will be displayed confirming that the product was added successfully. Let's move on to a third step, which is creating CRUD operations for products. We will create CRUD operations, which is create, read, update, delete for managing products in our FastAPI app. Now, these operations will be handled using the HTTP methods like post, get, put, and delete. So let's just move on to the coding section from here. So we'll just click on this new file and we'll just enter the file name as CRUD.py. So we'll just type from FastAPI import again fast. You can just select from here, it will be more faster. Then type in from, typing import list and then optional app is equals to FastAPI from here. Now this will be in-memory storage for the products, and this will be replaced with a database in the future. So I'll just mention in hashtag from here, in-memory storage for the products. And then products is equals to brackets. Then now I'll show you how to create a product. @app.post products. Just click on this. And def create product. You can give the name string. Then you can give the description. Alright, so here I've created the product. You can see def create product, name is string, description string, price as float, quantity integer type. Then we've given the product name description, and the products.append function using the product. And then I've returned message product added successfully product. So let me just explain you this code. So here, while creating a product, you can see the post method. This endpoint will allow us to add a new product. The function accepts the product details, which is the name description, float quantity, via the HTTP post, and it will store the product in memory list. Then you have this @post products. So in this, you can create products, name, string, description. This decorator will define the route that listens for the post request at product/table. Then we also have the parameters listed here. Then the function where it accepts the name, description, price, and the quantity as input parameters to define a product. Next, we have updated the product. Here, this endpoint will allow us to update an existing product where you specify the product ID, the fields, name, price, description that you want to update. So after we have updated our product here, I've given the message as well. Let's see how you can delete that product. Now for deleting the product, I'll just mention it here in the comment section. Deleting. So for deleting a product, it should be app@app.delete products and then the product ID. So again, just mention def delete underscore product underscore ID colon product ID is less than len products colon. Then we'll insert this function, which is product pop product underscore ID. And we'll give the message return, and then we'll give the message as return product deleted successfully. One more statement will return, which is return on bracket message product not found. So here in this particular decorator, which we have mentioned here, which is app.delete. So this decorator will list in all the delete requests at product ID. Now if the product ID exists in the list, the product is removed using the pop function. The API will respond with a success message as an error message if the product was not found. So now that we have seen how we use the CRUD functions to create a product, delete a product, update a product, now it's time to see how to handle error and validation using Pydantic search. So now it's time to see how to handle error and validation using Pydantic. Now Pydantic helps us to define data models and validate the data that's passed to our API. FastAPI automatically checks if the data matches the model and raises an error if it doesn't. Let me share full code with Pydantic validation. So again from here, I'll create one more file and name it pydantic.py. Now, from here, we have to import our files from Pydantic, import base model. Next, from FastAPI, import FastAPI. Okay. From typing, import list. App is equals to FastAPI. So now we'll see for in-memory storage for products. Now we'll just put a comment here. In-memory storage for products. And then we'll keep products and with a bracket. So again, I'll comment it here. Pydantic model for the product. Okay, so we'll keep the name as string, description string, price float, and the quantity as integer. So again, I'll just accept this tab. Now I'll show you how to create a product using Pydantic. So again, I'll put this hashtag and we'll do it for creating a product. @app post and we'll keep it as the products. Then def create product. All right, we'll def create underscore product. We'll keep the product name. Then we'll put products.append product. Okay. And then we'll return this message as product added successfully, product. Now we'll get all the products from here. So again, I'll add a comment and it says get all the products. Again, I'll put this app get products response model list and I'll name it product. Then here again, I'll add def get products and then I'll return product and the products. So now let me explain this code to you. So here we have the product Pydantic model, product base model, as you can see this function here. This defines the schema for a product. It ensures that the name, description, price, and the quantity fields are provided and that they match the correct data types. The correct data types are string, float, and integer. Now, we'll see how we use the model in our API by using the post product slash. The product data now comes in as a product object and FastAPI will automatically validate the data against the model. Now, if the data is invalid, for example, sending a string for price, FastAPI will return a 400 bad request error with the details of all the validation failure. So we have seen how this error handling works. So guys, after setting up the FastAPI backend, it's time to connect it to the front end, such as the React or Vue.js. Now for this, we need to ensure the CORS is handled correctly so that the front end and the back end can communicate seamlessly. Now if you don't know what CORS is, I have already explained it before earlier, so you can just play back and see what CORS actually means. So FastAPI allows easy CORS integration using the CORS middleware, where you can configure and allow cross-origin requests between your front end and backend. And this ensures smooth communication between different parts of your application. So let's look at the code now. We're going to create one more file from here, cors.py. So we'll type from FastAPI. Again, we're going to import this FastAPI from FastAPI.middleware.cors. Import CORS middleware. Then we'll type app is equals to FastAPI. We'll give origins. So we have given the origins as the host, the local host, which is the 8000 port. Next, after this, just type app.add middleware. CORS middleware. Allow origins equals to origins. Allow credentials true and then allow the methods. Allow the headers. I'll also show you how you can call your FastAPI backend from the React frontend. So just keep it frontend API calls example fetch the host from here, the local port / products dot then response is equals to response JSON and then dot then data is equals to console.log data. Okay. Now this simple fetch request calls the get products route on your FastAPI backend and it logs the response in the browser console. Now we'll move on and see how we can connect to a database. So here we have taken the example of PostgreSQL. You can use any other database if you want to. So again, here we'll be creating one more file, database.py. So guys, now that we have our CRUD operations, it's time to connect to PostgreSQL database for persistent storage. Now, we need to install PostgreSQL in our terminal. For that, we have a command ready. Just again, go to our terminal section and just enlarge this a bit. And then from here, just type this command, pip install psycopg2. Just enter this command in your terminal. So this will actually install your PostgreSQL and psycopg2. So just wait for a few seconds till it's installed. Well, I think a new release of pip is available this end to update already. We don't have to update it now when it has already installed all our packages, the psycopg2, and it has also installed PostgreSQL. So guys, since we have installed this thing, let's move on to our code. We'll go to our database.py. All right. We'll close this terminal from here and then here we'll type import copg2. Okay. Since we have imported this, now we'll connect it to the PostgreSQL database. So I'll just add it in a comment. Connect to PostgreSQL database. We give the code as con is equals to dot connect And then now you can enter your database name. So I'll keep the DB name is equals to inventory DB. All right. User is equals to, keep it as user itself, comma. Password is equals to, we'll keep it as password. Host will keep it as localhost. Port will keep it as 5432. Then we'll type cursor is equals to con.cursor. We're connecting it. Now next we'll see how we can create a table now. Now to create a table, here you can give the code create table if not exist product, and just enter the ID, serial, primary key, name as varchar, description text, price float, quantity, con.commit and cursor.close. And after this you have to just enter con.close. So here, as you can see, the psychopg2.connect function, this will establish the connection to your PostgreSQL database using the provided credentials, which is the database name, your user, password, host, and the port. Then we have the cursor.execute function. This will execute the SQL query to create a product table if it doesn't exist here. Con.comment function, it will save any changes made to the database, such as creating the table. And talking about cursor.close function and con.close, it will close the database cursor and the connection. So this is how you can connect your database to PostgreSQL. Next step, we'll see how you can test the API. Then to test the API, you can use Swagger UI, which is automatically provided by FastAPI. You can run the app using the UVcorn. Now let me show you which command you need to enter. So again, we'll just go back to the terminal. Now to start the FastAPI server, you can run this command using the UVcorn. The command is UVcorn main app -reload. And this will start your FastAPI server. So right now it's saying error loading ASGI. It could not import the module main from here. Now you will also see the routes like post, get, put, delete for managing the products. And you can also access another view of the documentation by using the different port number. So we can also use GitHub Copilot for this purpose. We'll just say GitHub Copilot to create a route to get a product by ID. So as you can see, Copilot says, I'll add a get route to the project's FastAPI .py, the file which we created, that returns a product by ID using this particular database helper. Then I will update the to-do list. All right, it says done. I've getted it get route. All right, so here's how you can test quickly. So it says you can start the inventory app if it's not running by giving this command. If you prefer, I can start the server. Okay, I'll just say it to start the server. So guys, from here, you can just live your code, whatever we were working on, and you can just have a look at the directories which we created, the virtual environments and everything. You can just see this FastAPI function from here, the scripts and all. So there was some error before, but right now you can see that we have included all our databases here. We have connected it to FastAPI. We have seen how we connected to PostgreSQL database. So you can just have a look at all the backend, the database just from here. I think it's taking, the GitHub Copilot is taking more time to complete this. Manually, you can just code it and see how it works. So guys, in this tutorial, you have created a FastAPI app with CRUD operations. We have integrated Pydantic for data validation. We have connected to PostgreSQL database for persistent storage. We have used GitHub Copilot to speed up development and improve code quality. We also tested the API using FastAPI's interactive documentation. So guys, if you want the code for this FastAPI backend, I'll just attach the GitHub repository in the description box below. And with that, we have come to the end of our tutorial. If you have any doubts or questions, you can ask them in the comment section below. Our team of experts will reply to you as soon as possible. Thank you and keep learning with Simplilearn.